Hello everyone! This tutorial is going to show you how to use Zoom for an OFE Virtual Employer Event. If you have never used Zoom before and would like help with downloading and understanding the basics of using Zoom, please watch the Part 1 tutorial video, which is an introduction to Zoom. If you have used Zoom before and are just looking for instructions about how to use it specifically for a virtual employer event, keep on watching. The first thing that you will need to do in order to get ready for an employer event is to change your name on your Zoom account to your OFE file number. We do this to ensure your privacy within large events. You must change your name to your file number before you enter the Zoom meeting for the event. To do this, open any internet browser and go to the Zoom website, www.zoom.us, and press enter. Then sign in to your Zoom account. If you're not already signed into your Zoom account, it will give you an option to click on Sign In somewhere near the top of the window, probably on the right-hand side. I'm already signed in, so now I will click on My Account. When you do this, make sure you are in your Profile tab. It will probably automatically take you to Profile. At the top, your name will be displayed. Click on Edit on the right side of your name. This will allow you to enter a new display name for your Zoom account. In the box containing your first name, backspace your first name out of the box. Then type in your OFE file number instead. If you do not know your OFE file number, check the emails that were sent by the OFE staff member who is hosting the employer event, probably Rosalie. One of these emails will contain the email address of someone that you can contact to ask for your OFE file number, or if you have any other questions. Once you've changed your first name to your file number, click in the box containing your last name. Backspace to get rid of your last name, and then leave this box blank. It should not have any information in it. Then scroll down and click on the blue button that says Save Changes. If for some reason you're still having trouble with changing your name, contact the OFE staff member indicated in the event email, and they will be sure to help you as soon as possible. The next step is to attend the virtual employer event. Pay very close attention to the email that contains all of the information about the event. It will tell you what time the event is scheduled to start, as well as what time registration opens. You will want to arrive in the event's waiting room around the time that registration is set to start. If you wait until the time the event is starting to enter, then you may run late and not be granted access. You also want to make sure that you're giving a good first impression to the employer in the event. And if you're late, it will give a negative first impression. Also, if you're having any technical difficulties, still having trouble changing your name to your file number, or anything else, you need to make sure you have time to get everything worked out and potentially contact the OFE staff member who will help you with these issues. Entering the event after registration opens, but before the event is set to begin, will allow you enough time to be able to connect with an OFE staff member and get any issues resolved. So in other words, if the employer event is set to start at 2 p.m., make sure to enter the waiting room around 1:30, and then keep your window open until you're let into the event. To enter the employer event, look for the event details that were sent to you by the OFE staff member. This will include a link that you can click on to open the event, or you can open your app on your device and click Join, as well as the meeting ID and the password. I'm using the Zoom app, So I'm going to click on the big blue button with the plus sign that says Join. Copy and paste or type the meeting ID into the box. The next step is very important, as it is asking you to set your camera and microphone options. It's asking if you would like to turn these things off, and if so, click in the boxes here. Since you do want to turn both of these things off, make sure both boxes for both of these options are checked by clicking inside both boxes. Again, this is for your privacy during the event, and also to ensure that everyone can only see and hear the meeting hosts. Therefore, we want to select Do Not Connect to Audio, as well as Turn Off My Video. Then, you can click Join. Here it will ask you for the meeting password. Find the password in the email and copy and paste or type it into the box here. Then click Join Meeting. At first, you will be taken to a screen that asks you to wait until the meeting host lets you in. This is the waiting room, and once you enter, you should stay in it. You can use your device for other purposes, but please do not close the Zoom app once you've entered the waiting room. If you were having difficulties with any part of the process, such as changing your name to your file number, one of the hosts will briefly let you into the meeting once you enter the waiting room. If they do this, click on Join with Computer Audio, and you can then mute or unmute yourself so that the host can hear you. Remember, you can mute and unmute by clicking on the microphone button on the panel at the bottom. Once the host is done meeting with you, they will put you back in the waiting room until the event starts. Just like this. Not everyone will be admitted into the meeting before it officially starts. This is only for people who needed to meet with the host beforehand, but stay near your device either way. When you are admitted into the event, just like here, you might need to set your settings at this point. If this is the first time you're being admitted, it will ask you to join with computer audio, at which point you will click on that button. Again, it's really important that your audio and your visuals are both turned off. Double check to make sure that this is the case on the panel at the bottom. The red line should be through both. If it's not, make sure to click on one or both of these options to make sure that both are turned off. Now you are ready to sit and listen to the event. Throughout the event, it's encouraged that you ask questions. Of course, your microphone is off, and you cannot turn it back on. So instead, you will use the chat feature. You might remember from the Part 1 video that the chat button is at the bottom of the panel here. If you're using a mobile device, you may need to tap on More and then tap on Chat in the menu that pops up. Anytime you have a question to ask the employer, type it into the chat box at the bottom. Make sure that you are sending the question to the OFE staff member that is hosting the meeting, which is the same staff member that emailed you about it. It will probably be Rosalie, so ensure Rosalie's name is the one showing beside 2. Right now, the option is to send the question to everyone. You do not want to send your question to everyone in the group, so select the host instead. In this case, the host is Chelsea, so I will click on that name. Beside it, it will say privately in brackets, which lets me know that my question is not going to the entire group, but rather just to the host. Now I can type my question where it says type message here. Once you are done typing your question, click on the Enter key on your keyboard. This will send the host your question. It might take a little while for the host to ask the employer your question, and that's because they're following a schedule. Don't be worried if your question does not get brought up right when you send it. Just know that the host has seen it, and it will be answered by the end of the meeting. I'd also recommend that you watch the chat feature in case the host wants to communicate directly to you. Sometimes the host may have a question for you specifically. For example, if they need clarification for a question you've asked, if your mic is accidentally turned on, etc. So pay attention to the chat panel to see if any communication has been sent directly to you during the meeting. For example, you can see on my screen here that the host, Chelsea, has sent a message to the group reminding everyone to turn off their audio. If they send it directly to you, it will also display in the same panel. In this case, however, it will say that the message was sent just to me, and it will note that it was a private message. These are the ones that you will have to respond to. One more reminder about what to do during the meeting is to stay in the meeting the whole time. Do not leave by closing or clicking leave and then coming back. Attendance is ongoing throughout the meeting, so we're making sure that everyone is inside the meeting at all times. When the event is done and you don't have any more questions to ask, remember to leave the meeting by using the red button at the bottom that says Leave. Click on Leave Meeting and you will exit. If you think of more questions after you leave the meeting, feel free to contact the OFE event host or your employment consultant. And now you're ready to attend an OFE Virtual Employer Event. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact any of the hosts at any time via email. Thank you.